timeless reality. And from A'udhu billahi min shaitanir rajeem, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, the Holy Surah begins with Tasin. Tilka ayatul Qur'an wal kitabil mubin. Tilka ayatul Qur'an wal kitabil mubin. We left Ashab al-Kahf and the realities of entering the cave and that seeking refuge in Allah and keeping a way in which to always seek refuge from difficulty by entering into that cave that we make for ourselves with our belief and our practices to enter into a timeless energy. Qur'an this month then dressing us from the fire of that Divinely Presence, which is Tasin. The Ta is the purified fire, Tahir. Seen is the sir and the secret that we are achieving by entering into these realities. Means that Allah is dressing for us that once you're in this cave leaving the physical dimension, because as you meditate, as you're contemplating, you're entering now into the fire like a moth to the flame. So their poetry is describing this section right now, Rabida Parveen's the one we play, like a moth to the flame, that come into this fire, don't only look at it, be from it. And many qasidas and realities about that immensity that now you're entering into this Divinely fire. It's understanding ta'seen, this reality of Prophet Tahir al-Hadi, the most purified guide of the Divinely Presence, that he's not a light, he's a fire. So when people asking, why you show fire on the SMC? Because we're not talking about a reflection. A light that come to you like a fluorescent light bulb is a reflection. We're not talking about going into the source of light which is a fire. The sun is a fire, the moon is a light bulb. The moon only reflects, it's not the source of light, but the source of light is the sun. So Allah bringing us into the source of it. This is not a reflection, this reality is the source that makes everything to reflect, and it's immensely purified, that beyond anything that can be understood Allah created this reality out of an immense purity, that there can be nothing purer than that. Above that is Allah. This is creation. So in this understanding of creation, Tahseen is the name of this flame, and then to be dressed by the Ta is that Allah make us Tahirul Hadi from Taha, the purified guides, that Allah wash them, cleanse them in this flame. Everyone must enter this flame. Those whom come willing, they relinquish everything and enter the flame willingly. Those who come unwillingly, they call it hell, right? Because they're coming with their goods, they're coming with their desires, they're coming with perishable items into a non-perishable eternal realm. Means the ones who don't have that love for Divine, to them all of this sounds like hell, because they want to live on this earth for 1,000 years. They don't want to make and reckoning with their Lord, they don't want anything from the heavens. So it's like somebody coming with all their goods and you're telling them that beyond this point is a firewall, your goods are not available anymore. What deeds have you brought with you? Where's your shelter going to be? So, I brought nothing and I prepared nothing. Hence that sounds like a difficult place for them. This fire, when God grants us a willingness of His love, willingness to achieve, willingness to want to succeed, this becomes the flame of love. The reality is one, your perception of it changes. When you walked away from everything else in your heart, you have to have home, you have to have a car, you have to have all these things, but in your heart your belief is that, of course I believe in my Lord and of course I want my place in His kingdom. And I put that in perspective, that that's my eternal journey, and my effort and my greatest effort is for my eternal journey. They willingly enter the flame, and this process of moving close to the flame is what we call testing. Things leave your life and your life becomes like a pruned bush. You come, many people come to tariqah, come to the gate and come to the way. It doesn't have to only be tariqah, everybody comes towards their Lord, but they come like a wild bush. Too many branches, too many things growing on it. You know, when a farmer has a nice bush like apple trees, we went to apple orchard, all the apple trees were very short. In the wild they grow all over the place, but the tree has so many efforts to send a fruit, it has the inability to have good and decent fruit on it because the branches are just all over the place. When you go to a nicely trimmed and manicured farm, the trees are actually short, all bushy, and the fruits are ripe, because whatever energy the tree is going to produce is going to be for the fruits, and everything else that's not necessary is cut. So in the wisdom of our lives, God prunes things that are not necessary. So that effort that you put in your life, the thing that you want, the thing that you're running for, if God doesn't believe it's necessary for your tree to grow and your reality to grow, this is the pruning of our life, where things get cut out, things get sort of taken away, things get sort of refocused in our life. So as we're entering to that flame, it's so much more beatific to do this slowly than to be thrown in the grave and think of it as a fire of difficulty, because that will burn all the branches immediately. Because you're coming into the grave with your couches, your possessions and everything you want is not going to fit. So the concept of Jahannam and fire and punishment is their relinquishing of all of these desires and possessions. So awliyaullah come and inspire, come to this flame willingly. As you slowly walk to it, you'll realize what God takes away from us was not necessary to begin with, and what He nourishes us is what is necessary for our eternal journey. And this becomes a path and a walking of immense love. Tawassul bil haqqi wa tawassul bis sabr. It's not fast, but this path of truth requires patience. Allah swears by this reality, tilka ayat al-Qur'an wal kitabin mubeen, that this fire that you're entering into now, from this ta of my purified guide who wants to dress his nation from this purity, he wants to grant them the seen, which is secret, the sir, which is the ilmu yaqeen, aynu yaqeen, haqqu yaqeen, means these are all the tools of eternity. They don't grant accounting knowledge, they don't give you the racehorse numbers of which horse and which lottery tickets are going to win. The knowledges of eternity, the ilmu yaqeen, the knowledges that grant you a certainty and knowledges of the heavens. Aynu yaqeen is that to be trained on your spiritual vision, sifat al-basir, ahl al-basira, and that your knowledge and your training in vision opens for youth the truth of all certainties. Because the one who knows the reality, sees the reality, he's dressed from that reality, it is a truth for him. That's why the tariqah shaykhs, they cannot talk about something they have not witnessed and they have not tasted. They cannot read a book for you on these subjects, it's completely haram for them. It's forbidden for them to be a hypocrite, talk on a subject that they didn't touch and they didn't reach and they don't know its taste. These are shaykhs of guidance that if they're talking they taste it, they dressed from it, therefore they're given permission to speak from it. So they dressed from the scene. Allah dressed them from this tahir and purity, and within their heart is a reality of tahseen. And Allah swears by that, tilka ayatul Qur'an, because these are people whom are ayatun min ayatullah. They are the signs of Allah, that the Qur'an dresses them, and they are signs of Qur'an. Qur'an al-Mubeen, in which is clear, they have clear realities that dressing. So what Allah wants for us, enter into this flame. This is the flame of all flames that have been talked about. It will purify you and rid you of what is not necessary by the Divinely Presence. The flame that appears to be of a burning and painful nature, Imam Ali described, face your fate, that don't have fear. What looks to a fire to other people, for the believer, as soon as they step and step and step, قُلْ يَا نَارُ كُونِي بَرْدًا وَسَلَامًا عَلَى إِبْرَاهِيم. And Allah gave for Sayyidina Ibrahim the same. They say to the fire, be cool and peaceful, O Abraham. Same fire that the Prophets of God have entered into this flame, and this flame is the way of the heart. So on our shirts we used to have a logo of the Hu, and the Hu was in the center of a fire, because this guidance of Hu and this guidance of the Hu men is traversing into this flame, and you have to be from inside this fire which continuously is a burning, because it continuously burns other than what God wants. So continuously they're in this flame, and as a result they are the people of immense divine love and guidance. So when Sayyidina Ibrahim was cast into this fire, because he represents on the sir, he represents in the levels of the heart this proximity and closeness and companionship with Divinely Presence. Means that they walk with God, Allah becomes the faculty of their hearing and their seeing, and it's because of that flame and that fire that they entered into this fire. As a result the fire allows them to hear. So they have like a flame burning on them, like a fire, how you could give it out as a description like our logo. They've animated our logo because